already this first part of the weekend. For more on that story, let's go to the garage area. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Bob Chickens, if you don't believe this 2.52-mile, 12-turn road course is a difficult place to drive, just ask some of the veteran Winston Cup drivers like Jimmy Means and Mike Waltrip, both of which have ended up on their roof here in the past couple of days. If you don't think this course will be a challenge for the less experienced Southwest Tour drivers, well, you just stay tuned for a few minutes when we get ready to go to green. These guys are going to have their hands full. If the experience of the Winston Cup guys ends up on their roof and in the tire barriers, I don't know what's going to happen today as we go 50 laps here on this winding road course. But standing by with a driver who's got a lot of experience on this course, but starting way back in the field, is Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, Jerry, Ken Peterson didn't have quite the qualifying run that he had expected or had hoped for, but Ken, you've got over 1,000 miles of practice and driving here on this course. In fact, you got your license here. How tough is it going to be to start from the back and carve your way to the front with this quick car?
Oh, my team's done a heck of a job, and the Fisher Engineering gave me a motor that's going to be able to do it. The car is there, now it's all up to me. I just have to be patient. Everything's there, now it's just up to me. If I can just take it easy, get through the first few laps, then they're just going to start reeling them off one by one.
Well, there aren't a lot of cars behind him. In fact, the starting position for Ken Peterson is identical to his car number, 39. Let's go up to Ned Jarrett. Ned?
Well, Jack, even though he has a good race car, it's still going to be tough to get to the front. Vinnie Parsons, you went through the driving school here, the Bob Bondurant driving school, and raced here one time many years ago. It's not an easy track to go from the back to the front.
It's a very tough racetrack, and folks, I raced here when they went up the drag strip. They didn't make all these corners up in the carousel. It was about a 6-turn racetrack when I raced here, and I don't know how these fellows are going to solve the problems because it is very, very difficult. There's too many things you have to do, the shifting, the braking, the clutch. These fellows are oval track drivers. They're not accustomed to all that.
One of the Winston Cup drivers said here this week that it's about 90% driver and about 10% car. And I think we'll see a lot of that come into play here this afternoon. It should be an exciting race.
All right, thank you, Ned. As far as the cars are concerned, there are 42 of them lined up ready to take the green flag. All V8s except the car starting in the front row. They are V6s. Stand by now for the Southwest Tour 200. And our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality, always has, always will. By the Die-Hard battery, now with more power when you need. ESPN Speed World today at Sears Point International Raceway, located north of San Francisco in the Sonoma Valley, a beautiful portion of the country. And there you see the grid as the cars are lined up here in front of us, getting ready to go on to this 2.5-mile road course for a couple of warm-up laps. We're going 50 laps here this afternoon. There is the pole lap time, 1 minute, 40 seconds, .874. The speed, 89.934 miles an hour. One interesting development concerning this road course here is the elevation change, 150 feet from the low point to the high point. And as I said, we will go 50 laps, 200 kilometers here this afternoon. Up front, we've got a couple of veteran Southwest Tour guys, and as we heard Jerry Punch and Jack Arute explain, Ken Peterson, who is one of the instructors, or was one of the instructors here at the Bondurant School, starts way in the back in 39th position, and it's a very narrow racetrack that these drivers will be competing on this afternoon, so we should see some action. There you see the grid as it begins to move out now onto the racetrack. Now, here is the layout of the course. There are 12 corners, and as you can see, there really isn't a long straightaway here to get much speed up. That's the area in which the green flag will be given, the start-finish line right there. They go down to turn number 1 and then begin a uphill climb toward that first turn. The elevation change quite steep here. You can see the pace car leading the field now up into that first corner. It's a rather sharp right-hander, then a very short straightaway. You can see some of the skid marks there, indicating that some of the cars have gone off at that particular point. Short straightaway, and then they continue their uphill climb through a series of corners 3 and number 4.
And many of these turns are blind for the drivers, Bob, as they go around them. They just simply can't see what's on the other side as they go through the turn. And most of the turns are off-camber, meaning that the banking goes the opposite way as compared to an oval track.
Some of the cars scuffing in the tires now as they continue up here into what is known as the Carousel.
And some of the drivers are saying this is going to be the most critical part of the racetrack, the carousel, because there's a straightaway just after this, and if you're able to get through there, Bob, you're able to get down that straightaway, get position on someone, and pass going in the Keyhole or turn 7 up there. So the carousel, we'll look for it today. Looks like it's going to be awfully important.
Very critical portion of the racetrack. We watched some practice yesterday, and really there are very few points on this racetrack that would be known as good passing points.
You're exactly right. We saw the shot just before this going up the hill, as Ned Jarrett says. This corner that we're seeing right now, totally blind. The drivers can't see anything. And imagine their surprise when they top the hill. There's a car spun out, or there's oil on the racetrack. And what happens? You go into the tire barriers, and what then? You flip, as Jimmy Means did. That's exactly where he flipped the other day, in the carousel. Got in there a little bit too hard. There wasn't any debris on the racetrack. He simply got in there too hard, got in the tire barriers, and flipped the car.
Now, we've mentioned how there aren't very many straightaways, but this really is one of the fastest portions of the racetrack. As they come out of the carousel, there's a pretty good straightaway here, and this is probably one of the areas we will see a lot of passing. However, it's not a very long straightaway, and look what happens. You move into turn number 7, and this is a hard hairpin.
They call this the Keyhole Turn, the top of the racetrack. You're going uphill into this corner, and now, as you see, starting back downhill after this hard right-hander and a series of S's, left and right-hander corners. And this is a very, very difficult S's. If you two cars side by side, I don't see how they're going to negotiate this. They have to follow each other nose to tail. Even if a car is 10, 20 miles an hour slower, you simply cannot take a chance and pull on the outside of it, because what happens? You end up in the barrier.
Despite the fact that this is a series of S corners, it's really one of the fastest areas of the racetrack. They continue to move downhill now into turn number 9 under the Winston Cup Series bridge.
And then right back to the right in turn 10. And as you said, this is an extremely fast part of the racetrack. This might be the fastest part of the racetrack. Making that right-hander, and almost a dead stop at the end of that right-hander. The cars have to make a hard right.
Because that's one of the slowest points on the racetrack there. And they do have to really stand on the brakes and gear down into second gear going into that turn. And, of course, they need the acceleration coming off the turn.
Now we're into corner number 11. And by the way, just before turn number 11 is where they enter the pits here. Now, the pace car leads them down through corner number 12 and to the start-finish line once again. So you have been on a complete lap of Sears Point International Raceway. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup. On the front row in car number 93 will be Troy Beebe from Modesto, California, one of the V6s. Outside will be John Pox, number 73. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. In the second row, Jim Thurkettle in car number 5 from Sylmar, California. And Frazier Park, California's number 25, Dan Press. Going to row number 3 now, it is Mike Chase in car number 22. Alongside will be Bob Lyon in number 44. Row number 4, 56, Ron Esau, and 79, Ron Hornaday Jr. Going to row number 5 now. Going to row number 5, it's Dennis Dyer, car number 9, and Roman Kalsinski in 75. Row 6 is Lauren Kelly in car number 20, and Kevin Reinker in 69. In the 7th row, it's Chuck Pettinger in car number 50 and the number 37 car driven by Doug George. The 8th row, Mike Kankey in car number 33 and Roy Testa in number 7. The 9th row consists of Randy Leskowski in car number 72 and Charlie Said in car number 193. The 10th row, Randy Lack in 71 and Herschel Mcgriff driving car number 66. In the 11th row is Doug Schramm in car 09 and Greg Scheidecker in number 10. Ron Fritzley in car 00 and John Wilson Jr. in car number 55, make up row number 12. As we take a look now at the rest of the starting lineup, Benny, you indicated in the open of the show that these drivers are more accustomed to driving on the ovals. That's absolutely correct. This is the only time they will race on a road course. This particular course, they will be here twice this year, but this is their first appearance on such a track as this, so they're not used to this either, just like the Winston Cup guys.
Exactly right. They're accustomed to starting the race, putting it in 4th gear. They hit the brakes with their left foot. They use the left foot for the brake, their right foot for the gas, and that's it. They never have an opportunity to shift gears and use the clutch like they're going to today.
Well, let's go down to Jack Arute, who has a story on a veteran, to say the least, of stock car racing here on the West Coast, Herschel Mcgriff.
Well, Bob, as you said, Herschel Mcgriff is starting car number 66. He was originally supposed to go to a post position much better than what he's derived because he is relieving the driver that was normally supposed to drive that car. They've had to start the car in the back of the pack. So Mcgriff will have a long way to go, but he has written the book about road racing and Northwest and Southwest Tour racing as well. And the guy is old enough to be a grandfather. In fact, he is, and he should really be able to teach us all a little bit about Sears Point while we watch him come from the back.
There he is in car number 66. And Ned, I imagine you've raced against him, haven't you?
Have raced against Herschel Mcgriff. In fact, I think everybody in racing who has raced a stock car has raced against Herschel Mcgriff.
You're probably right.
He's been around for a long, long time and still is one of the greatest. Let's go to Jerry Punch with a story on the V6 engines.
Well, unlike in Winston Cup racing over in Busch Grand National, where the V6s are the predominant engine in the field, today there are only two, as Bob Jenkins had mentioned, and they're both on the front row. Now, 390 cubic inch carburetors on those V6s, just like they have on the V8s, but of the 42 starters, 40 of them have V8s and 2 have V6s. The interesting one's a Chevrolet V6 that came out of the Harold Elliott stable. Rusty Wallace car, former V6. That's the John Pox car. The other one, Troy Beebe, is a Buick V6 from Tony Odo. So a couple of six-bangers lead them down to the green flag. Bob?
And they're in corner number 11, coming on to the main stretch of racetrack where they will get the green flag. The pace car still leads them down. It will be ducking off the racetrack, however, and we should be getting a start of this 200-kilometer, 50-lap, 126-mile race. The green flag is out, and here we go.
These fellas want to get in a line in a rush because it's just no room for two abreast. Ooh, there's one through the dirt. They're three abreast behind. This ain't going to work, I'll tell you that.
Traffic jam. Looks like the San Francisco freeway. Everybody's getting through, slow as it could be, but everybody is through there okay. And the pace begins to pick up just a little bit now. Troy Beebe is leading him now down through corner number 4 into corner number 5. And you can see the field now beginning to string out just a little bit and get in single file formation. But boy, that second turn was quite a traffic jam.
It was a traffic jam. Everybody trying to get position and get as big a jump as they could on their competitors.
Now they move off the carousel, headed for turn number 7. That is Troy Beebe leading them down, and John Pox running in second position.
You can see fuel coming out of his car as he made that turn. We'll see that for a few laps until he burns some of the fuel out.
But, you know, the problem is those guys behind him, Ned, that fuel just does not evaporate as quick as it is the racetrack. It makes the surface very slippery for those people behind him.
That might work to his advantage.
Well, that's right.
The number 25 car, Dan Press, running there in third position as Beebe in car number 93 leads them through corner number 10 now. Onto that short straightaway, leading to number 11, and there is Ken Peterson in car number 39. He has already passed 8 cars so far. He started from 39th position after a problem during the qualifying session. Now he has passed 11 cars and going for his 12th.
I'll tell you, that's pretty impressive. As heavy as that traffic is and as tight as this racetrack is, not many places to pass on. He really is doing a good job. Look at him.
Moving to the inside and picking off another in corner number 11. He's way down to the inside now as he positions himself to the inside of car 05, driven by Ryan Chernome. And Ken Peterson in car number 39 is moving up quickly.
There's a heavy smoker right in front of him.
86 car is smoking quite heavily. That's David Janssen, but he's able to pass him, and as he gets another one, he is just picking him off right and left on a very narrow racetrack.
Vinny, I'm impressed with the way that car cuts. Once it gets to one of those turns, he just cuts it whichever way he needs to go. Look at him. Go to the inside and just drives right on the inside there and moves right.
We keep talking about it's going to be difficult to pass. Well, he's not having any problem. Look, he's going to try on the outside. Come on now, you ain't going to do this. Come on.
John Wilson, the number 55, gets picked off. Unbelievable. Well, perhaps everything that we have heard as we came here to Sears Point are not going to be able to pass. That theory's down the tubes.
You know, it's too bad that some of these Winston Cup drivers, maybe some of them are watching a monitor somewhere because they can't see all the way around the racetrack, but to see this guy come up through there certainly should give some of those guys who have problems in qualifying the Winston Cup starting back towards the back some hope.
Let's see how he handles this situation, getting around Ron Fritzley in car 00. Now the 43 machine is ahead of him. That's Ed Ash.
He's coming down those S's, and he's going to try to get inside.
He did.
Whoa, now come on.
The car 43 already with some front end damage. Ed Ash has gotten into somewhat.
So Ken Peterson is moving up fast. Meanwhile, back to the leader. It is Troy Beebe in car number 93. John Fox is running in second position, and Dan Press, the points leader in Southwest Tour competition so far this year after 6 races, is running in third position. We do see some smoke from the fifth-place car. That must be Ron Hornaday Jr., possibly. No, there's Hornaday going by. It's Bob Lyon, I believe, in car number 44. Yes, it is. Bob Lyon, car 44. And that car is smoking heavily.
It looks like it might be a tire rubbing.
Yes, it looks like he's knocked some sheet metal or fiberglass in against the tire, smoking heavily.
So Bob Lyon is having problem here in the second lap as he has obviously made contact with something, and the tire is rubbing on the right front of that race car. We'll be back with more of this Southwest Tour 200 from Sears Point right after this. Welcome back to Sears Point. You're watching live action from the Southwest Tour 200-kilometer NASCAR race here at Sears Point, where Troy Beebe in car number 93 has the lead over the number 73 car of John Fox. Running back there in third in the blue and white car is Dan Press. These two guys have sort of taken off from everybody else, although Press isn't too far behind, but then there's quite an interval between number 3 and the 4th position car. And we have a car that's coasting on the backstretch. That's car number 20, Luan Kelly, who appears to, I don't know whether he's out of power or not, but he's moving very, very slowly.
We don't see a great deal of smoke coming from the vehicle, but I don't know, it doesn't appear as if that has an engine problem, but you're right, the car not under power at all, and I hope he can get off the racetrack and into the pits, because that would be a shame if we had a caution flag. Yes, it looks like he is going to make it.
Yeah, he's between turns 10 and 11 and is nearing the entrance to pit road, so he should be able to make it okay.
Here come the leaders.
First 3.
And Dan Press, it looks like he's gained a little bit since we saw them last. As they go in turn 11, real slow part of the racetrack, down to second gear. Back on the throttle, accelerating off, letting the car go about right against the guardrail. Third gear, into fourth gear.
There's the number 75 car, Roman Kalsinski, the defending champion of the Southwest Tour Division, and Dr. Jerry Punch has a story about Roman.
Well, gentlemen, the last time Roman Kalzinski came to this racetrack, he was the winner. He was able to come back from an early lap problem and win the event. But today he's got his hands full. On the last time by, the shifter broke off in his right hand. He is trying to shift gears, and only about 2 inches of shifter is above the floorboard. Now, the crew plans to bring him in under the first yellow and try to put a piece of pipe over that little piece of shifter to be able to switch gears. But right now, he's got a bear with it. He can only shift gears maybe once or twice during each lap, so he's losing a lot of valuable time. So trouble for the defending series champion, Roman Kaldinsky. Let's go up pit road to Jackaroo. Jack?
Well, taking a look, Jerry, at a problem with the 86 car, you know, what they've developed and what they're reporting back to his crew here is the fact that he's got an oiling problem. An oil breather is spilling a lot of oil out. And a lot of the Winston Cup cars have experienced the same problem, as I think Benny and Ned can talk about up there. They haven't really got the topography of this racetrack and what that does to an engine down pat.
That's exactly right, because just before we started this race today, I was down inside the NASCAR Winston Cup garage area. Dale Earnhardt's crew, Richard Childress, the engine fellow, Ed Miller, all were down there trying to figure out how to solve the problem of an oil leak. They had a little bit of a leak on the Earnhardt automobile. Back to the leaders one more time. Things haven't changed too much, except he might be, that 73 car might be a little bit closer than he was before.
Well, he's certainly keeping the pressure on. And just before we went on the commercial break, we were looking at car number 44, Bob Lyon, who had a lot of smoke coming from his car. He since is pulled behind pit wall, and apparently it was more than just a fender rubbing. They have the hood up on it, and they're looking for an oil leak as well. So he's out of it for today.
Here's the 39 car of Ken Peterson. He is up to 11th position already, passing the number 50 car of Chuck Pettinger. That's amazing, isn't it?
Did you count those 10 cars, or are you taking somebody's word for it? I don't think he's up to 11. He started 39.
Well, he's be there in a hurry, though. He really has been moving. And now the cars are pretty well scattered out, so when he catches them, he should be able to pass them a little bit easier. However, as he gets closer to the front, those cars are running faster, and that might make it a little bit tougher to pass. But here he is now, moving up on the car number 69, which is being driven by Kevin Reinker.
And he picks him off going into a corner, out-braking him. Well, obviously, Peterson has a lot of experience on this racetrack. He knows how to drive it. He knows where the braking points are, the shifting points are. But you also got to say that that car is looking pretty strong.
Well, that's right. Someone has done a good job putting this car together. And he is an instructor for the Bondurant School. One of his fellow instructors is going to be running tomorrow. Bill Cooper starting 25th in tomorrow's Banquet Food 300K. And let's face it, he might be able to do the same thing and go up and contest Rusty Wallace and the rest of these guys.
Broken oil pan on the number 44 car of Bob Lyon that went into the pit area just a few moments ago. Now the 5-lap speed average is 87.398 miles an hour, and we're watching Ken Peterson try to move up through the traffic. He's already up into 10th position now. He started 39th.
Well, he said at the top of the show that the crew had prepared that car right as he tries to take another position, but he was certainly right as far as that's concerned.
Well, Troy Beebe in car number 93 continues to lead this race with the 73 car of John Pox in second position. That's the way they've been running since the drop of the green flag, but Pox has been right there all the way. That's the number 109 car, driven by Hans Wesky from Simi Valley, California, who has spun off course.
He's trying to figure out how to get back on the racetrack without pulling in front of someone, and that is a trick, you know. There he's back on the course and looks like he's not in harm's way.
Spun off the course there in corner number 5 and gets back onto the racetrack as the leaders come by and pass him. The number 93 car of Troy Beebe and the 73 of John Pox. They're running very close together now. Looks like Pox may be making a bid for the lead here in just a few moments. Stay with us now for more live action from Sears Point International Raceway in Sonoma, California. Back at Sears Point in a battle for the lead as John Pox tried to take over the lead from the number 93 car of Troy Beebe there in corner number 7, but couldn't get the job done. They now move through the S's, and Beebe holds on to a narrow lead.
I thought he had him. I really and truly felt like he had him. He had position up in the turn 7 in the keyhole, but Troy Beebe able to accelerate away from him. Go back down to turn 11. We'll try it on braking. Let's see if he's able to pull inside. No, he's not.
Beebe hanging on to the lead, but it's only about a car length over the number 73 of John Pox. The number 39 car of Ken Peterson continues to move up through the traffic. That car right ahead of it is number 9 and is driven by Dennis Dyer. And talk about an incentive for winning that race. Here's Jack Root.
Well, Bob, Dennis Dyer's sponsor, Palmdale Chiropractic, has posted a $10,000 bonus if he can win this race today. Dr. Robert Fisher maintains the Palmdale Chiropractic Clinic, and my thinking is maybe he figures he'll have a lot of patience after this race, the way you get beat and banged around here. But Dyer has a lot more incentive than many of these Southwestern Tour drivers today. Let's check in with Jerry Punch. He's got another story up further on pit road. Jerry?
Well, I think Ken Peterson's going to give Dyer an adjustment right now as they head up through the turns here. You know, Peterson, 29-year-old driver from nearby Sausalito, was the fastest car on the track a year ago, so it's the same chapter, different verse. But the problem he had last year was with 2 laps to go, he ran out of gas. He held the track record. He's been the fastest car all weekend here, and he's sure proven it today. He's out today to make up for last year. He would like to get up front, and he would like to win it here. So the local favorite, Ken Peterson, making his way to the front, Bob.
Well, I'm telling you, he is making his way to the front very quickly. He passed the number 56 car, Ron Esau, and I'm telling you, he is putting on quite a driving display.
And Ron Esau, for years and years, has been one of the better drivers at the Riverside Road Course down in Southern California. So Ron Esau is no slouch, believe me, folks.
Peterson sliding the car through corner number 7.
Wow, he really is sliding that car.
Got it hung out.
Sure does.
Jim Thurkettle there in car number 5 ahead of Peterson in the red car. That's their 4th place car. And the number 22 machine, the blue one, is being driven by Mike Chase from Bakersfield, California, who has already won twice this year in Southwest Tour competition.
And here comes Peterson. He's right behind those guys going in turn 11.
He won't be behind them long, but...
No. Let's see if he can accelerate. Getting on the inside, accelerate off. Yes! Oh, they touch!
3 abreast there for a moment.
Well, they traded a little paint, and there's a little bit of damage on the left side of that 39 car, but he sets off to try to take the spot away underway again from the number 22 car of Mike Chase.
You know, he could have just gone on in there and barreled his way through there, but he did back off once they touched. He backed off and said, let me set him up again and see what it'll take this time.
I tell you what, this is really, this is interesting, folks. Watching this guy, he is almost a master at work getting around this race. Look, on the inside of Chase, he has position, and they're going to be 3 abreast if we aren't careful. The white car get out of the way, but he gets by Chase.
Now he sets his sights on Jim Thurkettle at number 5. I think he's going to get him here in the next corner, maybe. Oh, we have a spin. The number 13 car of Kathy Howard has spun.
I think we have a caution on the race course.
And the caution is on the track. And it comes out on lap number 9. Kathy Howard has spun. She keeps going, however. There is a bit of damage there on the left front of the car. Somebody else nearly spinning. That's number 25, Dan Press.
There's some oil up there. You see the flag, the yellow flag with the red stripes we just saw there. You see that? That means there's oil, and we can see the oil right in the middle of the racetrack. A great deal of oil. That's why the caution flag is that. And there's another car. Is that 22?
Oh, there's
Chase?
2 cars there. Thurkettle, yes.
Oil all over the racetrack and cars spinning everywhere.
And that's what you were talking about a moment ago. You come around one of those curves, you can't see that, and you run up on the oil all of a sudden, and here's where you're going to wind up.
And he's stuck. I mean, his rear tires is not going to turn because the rear end is up on a bank.
Yeah, plus the front end of the car is sitting on the pavement, and
the middle's sitting on nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
So Jim Thurkettle and Mike Chase both, who were fighting for position, spin in this oil.
If he had some work to do underneath that car, he could just fall up there. They wouldn't have to put it up on a jack, couldn't he? But he probably has some work to do on it if he doesn't want to do it out there on that grass.
Man, that's a shame because this fellow was running in 6th place before this spin.
All right, here's the first spin that happened. That's,
I guess that's the car that blew, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is.
And I can't tell the number. I'm not accustomed to these cars well enough to know.
Looks like it's car number 1, and that would be Paul Doherty. Let's go to Jerry Punch in the pit area.
Well, Roman Kalzinski, the defending series champion, was in to try to get that shifter problem fixed, and they took a piece of pipe and they plugged it on top of the small nub that's sticking up through the floorboard. They took some vice grips and squeezed it around that small segment of shifter and taped it fast. They hope that will cure the problem or at least temporize the problem until they can get a chance to come back in and fix it again. But a tough break for the defending series champion, Roman Kalzinski. Bob?
You think Roman Kalzinski's got problems? So does Mike Chase at car number 22, as he can't get the car to go anywhere. The yellow is out at Sears Point International Raceway in the Southwest Tour 200. We'll be right back. International Raceway for the Southwest Tour 200. And we're under a caution. A car put down a lot of oil out there on the racetrack, and several cars slid off the track, including the number 22 of Mike Chase, and a vehicle has finally arrived at the car. They're going to try to get it down off the banking and underway again.
No way that car was going to get off of there without some help, Bob, because the rear wheels were off the ground. In fact, the right rear wheel was at least a foot off the ground because the back end of the car is dug into that bank, and so there was no traction for the wheels to pull him away from there. So that wrecker's going to have a pretty tough job.
It's got to be a little frustrating, I think, sitting there, don't you?
I mean,
can't do anything.
The guy was running 6th, had a good finish going, and all of a sudden he puts the car in. He spins, just a simple spin. He doesn't hit anything, he don't think. He puts the car in 1st gear, and guess what? It won't go anywhere.
This is with that oil, and that really just shot him up there, and that's where it wound up.
We can still see the oil. The car's going through it. Just on the right side on the screen is that dark spot on the racetrack. That is the oil that has been dropped.
And there is the area that the oil is in, coming through the S's, actually just leaving turn number 8.
And that's a pretty fast part of the racetrack.
It sure is.
Well, they got him down off the banking. And we are now going to the pit area where Jackaroot has the driver of car number 1, Paul Doherty, who dumped the oil on the racetrack.
And Bob, that's putting it mildly. Paul, was there any warning before the engine let go?
Yeah, oil pressure dropped. When we come in, we put oil in it. It was out of oil, you know. Put oil in it, we went back out, and it just blew.
How was the ride, though? It had to be a wild one.
It was fun. It was definitely fun.
Boy, and I've heard things before, but a driver saying blowing an engine and sliding through Sears Point being fun, Jerry Punch, that's incredible.
Well, indeed it is, Jack. You know, a number of cars did not pit. In fact, the majority of the field did not pit on this first caution flag, and the reason being is in the drivers' meeting here, there are very specific rules that NASCAR employs for the Southwest Tour. One rule, it's sort of a savings for the drivers. You're allowed 6 tires, and 6 tires only behind pit wall. You can put 4 on at a time. You can put 4 on and 2 in the car if you wanted, I guess, but you're only allowed 6 for the entire 50-lap event. Now, most of the drivers here feel they can run maybe 28 to 30 laps, which is just past the halfway point, and make 1 stop only. That'd be a 4-tire change, add fuel, and go the distance. Now, the only drivers that really made pit stops here during this first caution, I said, were Roman Kaldinsky, who came in to get the shifter changed, and veteran Jim Third-Kettle, who won a year ago on ESPN at Phoenix in a Southwest Tour event. Third-Kettle was involved in that spin and melee coming out of turn 9 up there. He made a quick pit stop for right-side tires. Bob?
All right, thank you, Jerry. So that's the story from the pit area. On the racetrack, we are under caution in the Southwest Tour 200 here at Sears Point, and we'll be back with more racing action right after this. West Tour and a Winston Cup car. Now we take a look at the top 10. Here at Sears Point in this Southwest Tour 200, Troy Beebe is the leader, John Pox running second, Dan Press is third, then Ron Hornaday Jr. and Ken Peterson. In 6th is Ron Esau, car 56. Dennis Dyer is 7th. Chuck Pettinger in 8th. Kevin Reinker in 9th position. And Ray Hooper Jr. in car number 70 is in 10th. 12 laps have been completed, and we'll be right back. We had a very frustrating experience a few laps ago, Mike Chase.
Well, Bob, Bakersfield, California driver Mike Chase being brought back on the hook. And, Mike, it's not the way you wanted to come back in today. What happened up there?
It's running along real well in the Fry Miller Buick here, and come down through turn 8 there, and somebody blew a motor in front of Jim Thurkel himself, and we both got in oil and was just going too fast. I got in oil and sputtered around, put her up on the hill, and it looks like a bit of rear end housing, so we're out for the day.
You think you'll be able to get it fixed and get back in?
I don't think so. They said the rear end housing is bit real bad, so right now the Fry Miller Buick is out for the rest of the day.
Mike Chase has already won twice so far on the Southwest Tour, calling it a short afternoon here at Sears Point. Bob?
All right, so he gets the helmet off as we are getting ready to go back to racing. They will get the green flag next time around. Troy Beebe there in car number 93 is the leader of the race. John Pox in 73 is in second.
Now, we didn't see any of the front runners come in for pit stops, Bob, during this caution period. I think most of them expect to have to change tires at least once during this race. Of course, they would need one fuel stop as well, but they chose to stay out there a little while, not giving up that track position.
I tell you, track position is going to be awfully important. Well, I don't know. The Peterson guy's able to pass very easily, so maybe you're able to pass at ease at will around here, because he has certainly not had any problem at all.
I'll tell you, at the start of this race, him starting in 39th position and now, up to 5th position, somebody could have got deep in my pocketbook before this race started, that he had moved up through the field that quick.
Yeah, well, he does have a lot of experience. As I said, he knows exactly where the braking points and the acceleration points are on this track, so it stands to reason that he has moved up so quickly here in the first 12 or 13 laps.
Bob Jenkins, Ned, must be feeling bad, because, you know, he's always trying to sucker me into those bets. You know, that's a lot. So there we see the damage where he got on that car a little bit ago, but you would have thought that he would have tried to take advantage of you and I and got us some kind of sucker bet, but he must be feeling bad.
I didn't think of that. I don't feel as bad as I sound. I've got a cold. That's pretty obvious to everybody, but I don't really feel as bad as I sound. There is Peterson in 5th position. Okay, I'll bet you he wins the race. Want to bet?
Well, we're not betting people. We're just talking. It's a lot of gamble, but man started in 39th place.
Yeah, that's that wheel mark that he got when he passed a car there in corner number 11 a few laps ago.
Okay, we'll wager soda pop. How's that?
Soda? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the yellow lights on top of the pace car are off, so we should be going back to green this time around.
Bob, we mentioned that none of the front runners had made a pit stop. The car number 93 that's leading this race, Troy Beebe, is on Hoosier tires, and they're a little softer compound. The car number 73 is on a harder compound of McCrary tires. They feel that will come in a little bit later in the race as they go on and won't wear quite as fast.
Oh, look here, trouble. Car number 79 got sideways. Ron Hornaday Jr. just as the green was coming out, and he was moving through corner number 11.
Here's our hero going into 4th.
Yep. So he has moved now up into 4th position because Hornaday was in 4th. And look at him move through the slower traffic.
He just gets those right wheels up on those little pallets there on the inside, motors right on. most of those other cars are dodging those things.
There's a tremendous elevation change from down there to up here. Now we have a battle for the lead as Pox is right there on the back bumper of Beebe once again. Let's take a look at the restart once again and show you what happened there in corner number 11. Watch the blue car there on the left side of your screen.
He just stands on the throttle, and look, the tires are not able to stick, and back and forth, and those guys behind him keep waiting for him to spin out. They're afraid to jump in there because he's going to spin out in front of him as we go back to the leaders. And look here, once again, he looks on the inside, but man,
Can't do it on that turn. Now, Don Peterson has moved into the third position. I said Don.
Ken
Peterson has moved into the third position.
And you can see now that he's closing in. Here he comes. He is in third position. Peterson trying to catch up to both Pox and Beebe. And I think he's going to do it here in a short length of time.
I think he will, Bob. I was clocking them before that caution came out, and he was coming through traffic and gaining from a half to 3/4 of a second a lap on the front runners.
wow, that is impressive, folks.
Beebe sliding off corner number 11, maintaining the lead. There's John Pox in the all-yellow number 73 car from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He did some racing with Robbie Enzer, the son of IndyCar veteran Bobby Enzer. Of course, the Enzers also from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Pox car just seems to, anytime there's a corner, he seems to gain on the Troy Beebe automobile. But when he gets to the straightaway, it looks like the Beebe car has a little more horsepower because, look, in the corner, he just closes right up on the bumper of the automobile.
And it might be, Vinnie, that those harder tires that he's using are beginning to come into play. As the track keeps up and those tires heat up.
Both times we've noticed that Pox is able to close in and make a bid in corner number 7. They're coming up on that corner in just a few moments after they round corner number 6 here. So we may see him make a bid for the lead again.
You know, that's a very critical and an interesting part of the racetrack. You'll see some drivers, and we see Beebe will go down to the inside. Well, he stayed a little higher that time. The other times, he's been coming in lower on that corner, and I think that's where Pox was able to gain on him. But that time, he got the message and stayed out a little higher. That way, he was running straighter coming off the turn and got better traction.
And we see Peterson behind him. The red-white car behind him is a third place car. Fellow who started 39th, in case you just joined us, started 39th today and all the way up to the third spot.
Now here come the leaders moving through the S's, turns 8 and 8A. Let's go to Jack Arute, who has a story on Ken Peterson here, and watch his line through 11, huh, Jack?
Bob, that's absolutely correct. As he goes down into this area here, he has a much different line than your lead cars. You see how low he is? He just rim rides around the tires. That's what experience here at Sears Point does for you. That's the fast way around. That's the way that Bondurant has begun to teach these drivers to get around this course. And he's a teacher here, so he's learned his lessons well. Jerry, what about you?
Well, what you're seeing up here, Jack, is they're rebuilding the shifter shaft for Roman Kaldinsky. The little pipe they put on is not holding, so he's having trouble falling back in the field. So now they have re-welded this couple of pieces of pipe together, and they will insert this shaft on his shifter and hopefully get his problem fixed at the next caution flag. Let's go back up front. Bob?
Well, Peterson is gaining about 2 seconds a lap. The lap before, he was, well, there you can see he's right on him.
Oh, and a bid for the lead.
Yes.
Oh, something is wrong with Beebe's car as Pox and Peterson just motor by him, and Beebe is off the pace. So the guy who has led from the green flag has developed a problem, and now we have a new leader in John Pox, and following him very closely is Ken Peterson.
Who do you think is going to be leading when they come around to the start-finish line this time?
I have a feeling it's going to be Peterson, don't you?
So do I. I think going in 11, he's going to outbrake and get inside of it. Let's just see what happens. Down the S's.
Look at Peterson.
Boy, he's working on him.
But now remember what Jack said just a few seconds ago about turn 11. They're going to be here in just a few moments, and we'll see if Peterson does go inside and try to take the lead away from him at that particular portion of the racetrack. They move through corner number 10 now, down a short straightaway, and now headed for 11. Let's see what happens. Here he comes. He's looking to the inside. He may try to nope, not able to this time.
But he's going to accelerate off because he's on a low line and
Yes,
the
he
other
is.
car's on the outside. But no, he's not able to accelerate this time.
Hey, Pox made a good line
He
through
made
the
a
turn.
very good line through the corner.
Protecting the position. And so John Pox will lead lap number 17.
And we don't know. Beebe might have been holding Fox up, and now that he's
he's almost off the course that time. Slid out wide, John Fox did.
And apparently a caution is coming out. There must be trouble on the speedway somewhere. At least one of the NASCAR officials is signaling the crews down here in front of us.
We are going to have another full course yellow for Troy Beebe, car number 93. That car has stalled right at turn number 6, coming off of turn number 6. So on the 17th lap, we have our second overall caution period of the afternoon. Now let's go back and find out why this car is stalled right there. As we replay what happened just a few moments ago, suddenly the car just seemed to quit.
He's leading the race. No problem, comes off the corner. And as you said, the car just simply seemed to quit. Look, the other car just had to dodge immediately to get over and not run in the back of it. And then along comes Peterson by him. Beebe's car, obviously, with no power at all.
Jerry Punch is with the crew chief.
Well, we're standing with Alan Beebe, who's also his father, Troy Beebe's father. And Alan, what happened out there?
He just said that the car just quit, so it's either a coil, a distributor, it seems to be ignition, you know, and then after he was stopped, another car came and hit him pretty hard in the left rear, so we don't know if we can get the ignition problem fixed. We don't know if the other part will be all right or not.
A minor problem for Troy Beebe, and what a break. He has been running so well early on, and we'll have to wait till the car gets back and see how badly it's damaged to see if they can get him back on the course. Gentlemen?
Troy Beebe was in 6th position in the Southwest Tour point standings going into this 7th race of the year here at Sears Point. So you can see the corner workers all around this 2.5-mile course are displaying their yellows. We're under a caution, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. We are back at Sears Point under a full course caution. A little bit of an incident here in corner number 11 as one of the cars got way down low in turn number 11. This was before the caution came out, and a couple of cars spun down there. Now, Jackaroo, you told us that the inside line was the best, but he got a little too far inside.
Well, Bob, look at it this way now. Ken Peterson started in 39th position. He's passed a lot of cars. He took that inside line to pass quite a few of them. So they've gone to school on Ken Peterson. So now they're trying to go to the inside as well, and not with as much success as Peterson.
But, I mean, Jack, he went to the inside and stayed on the racetrack. That fella ran into the tires down there and knocked all those old tires everywhere.
Well, Benny, but here's the key. Very unlike many of the courses that we run at, they only have those little tire barriers, so you try and cheat it as much as you can going to the inside, and sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes the bear eats you.
But, you know, I've been to those racetracks that had those innocent-looking little tires there for a barrier as well. They're normally, there they are. But I've been to those places where these things were filled with cement.
Yeah.
And now when you try to cheat on those things, you had
surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
That's when they ask you what happened, and you say, it just stopped.
It just stopped. Right, Jack.
Well, the leader, John Pax, has made a pit stop.
And Ken Peterson has chosen to stay out there, so Peterson is in the lead now. As there's the Troy Beebe car, as it is pushed off the racetrack. That's the reason for our overall yellow flag that is displayed on this racetrack, and the reason why we'll take another break and be back in just a moment. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, leader John Potts was called in the pit road a minute ago for a pit stop by crew chief Junior Baxter. And Junior, the call you made to bring John in, was that a strategy move? Can you make it the rest of the way on fuel?
Yeah, it is. This year with a V6, we're being able to get a lot more gas mileage out of the car. The car being lighter with a V6 in it is not using up the tires as much as a V8. So we're getting good tire wear. And now that we can go the rest of the way on fuel, we just got to play this rest of the strategy through the race. It wasn't something that was called. We weren't planning on it, but we just took care of the situation. It seems how it was here.
Okay, John Potts took 2 left side tires. They topped the tank off. He has to go now 32 laps, which is going to be very, very close, even with a V6, and we'll see if their strategy will work. Bob?
Jerry, is that fellow from Canada? He sure sounds like he's a Canadian or something. He says that Potts is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. But Baxter sounded like a Canadian. We'll have to find out later on. Cars are going back and forth, wiping the debris off their tires, getting ready for a restart.
There's Kalsinski in third kettle there, back in the pack. And the number 66 car, and driven by Herschel Mcgriff, is right there in 8th position at the moment.
He started in the rear, so he has made a grand charge to the front as well.
And the second car in line there, number 70, has also made a good move. He started 26th and is now third, and that is the Ray Hooper Jr. machine. He has already won this year in Southwest Tour competition at El Cajon.
I know you're sick and you're a little bit ill, but he's second place now.
Yeah, won one time. Pace car is pulling off, and we should be going back to green here momentarily.
Oh, wait a minute. Why did the pace car pull off there?
It doesn't normally do that. No. It usually pulls off down here by turn 11.
Maybe the pace car blew up because he normally comes by the start-finish line. And
you're right.
Now, that is the position on the racetrack that he has been coming out to the track. So maybe he could find another way to get back there so he could be ready to come out again the next time. I don't know.
Well, in any case, we are getting ready to go racing once again, I believe. Here comes the field through corner number 11. Accelerating, but not very much. I think there's a little bit of confusion here as to whether we are indeed going back to racing. Is the green flag flying?
I don't know. They're racing.
The corner workers were displaying their yellows, and I understand that the number 70 car, Hooper, maybe black flag for passing into the caution. The corner workers, at least down in turn 11, were displaying their yellow flags as to indicating that this track is under caution, but nevertheless, we are racing.
Yeah, that's not right because the 39 car did not come off for a very good restart, and the 70 realized there was going to be a green flag. He anticipated it, and if he gets black flag, that's not right.
We understand that the Troy Beebe is back in the race again. Apparently, they found the problem. There was not too much body damage to that car. His dad said that someone had hit him while he was sitting over there, but that was very minimal.
There's the 66 car of Herschel Mcgriff making its way through traffic. Just ahead of him is Roman Kalzinski, car number 75.
Should we go into this normal thing about Herschel Mcgriff? How old is Herschel? 61 or 61? I think some of the press members have speculated. Somewhere in that neighborhood. He's been around a long, long time, but still a very, very good race driver.
And Herschel, whoops, Beebe is pulled off again. He went onto the track and made less than a lap and now pulls off again in the Taco Bell car. And Jerry Punch maybe has an explanation why.
Well, apparently an ignition problem they had predicted on Troy Beebe's car. They brought him in and changed to the backup coil in the car. The car fired immediately and he pulled away. They thought they had the problem solved, but apparently they didn't because the car now has pulled to a rest up the course. Trouble for Troy Beebe.
Apparently he feels he's in a safe spot, Jerry. He has already taken the window screen away as the leaders, we're watching the leaders come around now.
And the 70 car has been black flagged.
Yep.
He's been black flagged and had to come down pit road. The NASCAR official stops the car and he's away, but that's a shame.
Boy, he's going to lose a lot of time.
And there we see the 71 car.
That is Richard Locke from Van Nuys, California.
Oh, good racing here.
Yeah, that's the 72 car of Randy Laskowski right with him there.
And Randy almost spun out as he accelerated off that corner, got sideways. He's able to get it back under control.
And then look at Herschel Mcgriff and Jim Thurkettle go at it. Mcgriff has got that position.
Sure does. He's got his eyes on those two. Well, here's the car spun. Woo, right in the groove.
The 05 car of Brian Jernome has spun, trying to get the car headed back in the right direction.
He said, man, let me get off that racetrack. That's no place to be.
Well, he takes her up on the grass and comes out on a different place on the racetrack. That's a good, smart move.
Yeah, but you see that nose plowing in that dirt? You don't do too much of that. Here's our leader, and now that he's in front, he simply is driving away.
He sure is. Moved through the S's once again, but as he is pulling away, we have some pretty good racing going on behind him, and here they come.
Man, this is a great race behind him. Herschel Mcgriff looking inside, outside.
Great battle for third here. Mcgriff is trying to make the move on the Randy Locke car. We'll see what happens. They move through the S's. Ooh, Herschel came very close to nailing him there in the left rear portion of the race car.
That would have been a tough place on the racetrack to get sideways.
Now Herschel may have him here as they head down this short straightaway into corner number 11. Oh, the 71 car is pit bound. Well, so much for that.
So that battle went away, but look right behind Herschel. There's more cars.
Thurkettle right behind Herschel Mcgriff now.
And the 73 car of John Fox is right behind the red car. There's Herschel, the red car. And then the 73 car of John Fox is the car right behind in the yellow automobile. So he made a pit stop. He's on his way back. That's Turkittle in the red 5.
And Fox in 73. Now remember, Herschel in 66 made a pit stop on lap number 10 under caution.
So he has come from the rear twice. Here's another car that has spun off the racetrack.
That's Dan Press, car number 25.
And Dan is the winningest driver in this series this year. I believe he's won, what, 3 or 4 races so far this year?
That's 3 of 6, yeah, and came in as the points leader and was running in 10th position before the car got off course.
John Fox right behind Jim Turkittle, coming off the corner, coming off the carousel, going up into turn 7. We're going uphill now, folks, into a very tight right-hand corner. Hard on the brakes, the second gear here. Accelerating off in second, and they'll shift to third and fourth down, then through the S's and down the back straightaway of this course.
Car number 71 that we saw going to the pit to Richard Locke has completed his pit service and is back out on the track. So he stayed in the lead lap. He'll be hoping for a caution flag so he can catch up.
Watching Turkittle and Fox. Cars 5 and 73. There's Laskowski, there's McGriff, then Turkittle, and then Fox. All those cars running behind the leader, Ken Peterson.
Fox looked like he wanted to try to outbrake Turkittle going in the corner.
And there you can see the results of the Belmont. Easy Goer has won the 89 Belmont Stakes, and Sunday Silence finishes in second spot. So no Triple Crown winner. Of course, we'll have complete updates on SportsCenter later this evening here on ESPN. Laskowski trying to hold off the challenge of Herschel Mcgriff for second position.
And Fox was able to get by Turkittle, and here he is right behind Herschel Mcgriff.
And here's a trouble on turn 11.
Just off of turn number 11, a car has made contact with the wall, and it's the number 37 car of Doug George. Now, Ken Peterson, we understand, was going to make a pit stop, but now with this full course caution, he can come in under yellow and
well, that's right.
Very much.
But he has to start at the rear of the field, and he has to work his way through. We know he can do it because we've watched him do it, but he's going to have to do the same thing all over again that he did earlier today.
And there he is, moving through the S's, Ken Peterson, car number 39. And once again, the caution flag is out on Sears Point International Raceway for the third time this afternoon. This one for a crash just off corner number 11 involving Doug George from Merced, California. Pace car has picked up the leader coming through the S's, through corner number 9, and we'll get an indication here in just a moment as to whether Peterson is going to pit. The pit entrance is just ahead.
Looks like he wants to pass. He's passed everyone. He wants to pass the pace car.
He said, I've passed everybody on the racetrack but them so far, but here he comes into the pit.
Jagger Road is in Ken Peterson's pit for the stop.
And Bob, as you alluded, this is a break for Peterson. They had called him in on the radio, but on this pit stop, he's going to get a little help from his friends. The Winston Cup team of Dale Jarrett is elected to do the fueling, the tire carrying, and the jack work. Because, as you know, these Southwestern Tour guys are not used to making extended races and long pit stops. So the regular crew for Dale Jarrett is going to work, and they brought some of the tricks of the trade with them. Their trick jack, their gas cans, and they've done the work quite quickly. They're going to change all 4 tires. Now, the reason that Peterson did not come in under the last caution, as Jerry Punch had told you, the leader running a V6 was getting better fuel mileage. Peterson needed to stretch it a little bit longer to be able to go the distance. And he also remembers last year when with just a scant couple of laps, he ran out of fuel. Now, Roman Kalzinski is on pit road. Let's check in with Jerry Punch.
Well, they continue to battle the shifter problem for Kaldinsky. They came in this time and they have changed right side tires, and now a little bit of a miscue. They will come around and put the jack under the left side of the car. So a lengthy pit stop. Fortunately, it takes so long to get around this course under yellow, it will not cost him any more valuable time than he'd already lost with the shifter problem earlier. So Kaldinsky has been back in. Jim Turkittle, a number of other drivers have been back in for tire changes. He is down and away. Up.
There goes Calzinski back out onto the racetrack, the defending Southwest Tour champion. And there is the 39 car of Peterson as it's back in the pack after having made the pit stop. A little bit of fuel coming out of that race car. But we are under caution for the third time this afternoon here at Sears Point. An accident up here in turn number 11 involving Doug George. The wreckers are at the scene. They'll have that car off the track in just a few moments. In the meantime, we'll take another break and be right back in just a moment. ESPN Speed World today at Sears Point International Raceway in Sonoma, California for the Southwest Tour 200 NASCAR race. And we're just about the halfway point. 25 of 50 laps have been completed. And we are under caution because of the crash up here in turn number 11. Some of the safety vehicles are now getting off the racetrack, and I would imagine we might go back to racing next time.
Well, that safety vehicle, the record we see now, has just pushed Troy Beebe, our pole sitter, back into the pit area. Remember, he had stalled on the course, not able to get the car back under its own power, so that record pushed him back. He's coming down the pit road now, and going, I guess they probably will park the thing down. He's several laps down.
So all of this puts Pox back in the lead in car number 73. Second is Ron Esau, car 56. Then Dennis Dyer. That $10,000 incentive is certainly playing in his mind right now. Dan Press in car number 25 is running in 4th position, and Kevin Reinker is in car number 69 and running 5th. Jerry Punch with some thoughts on Ron Esau's run here.
Well, the car that Ron Esau is driving here, Bob, may be the winningest car in Southwestern Tour history. In fact, it's the same car that Herschel Mcgriff drove to 5 victories at Riverside Speedway. Mcgriff said, well, the car is just too old. It won't race anymore. I'm going to sell it. So he sold it to Ron Esau. What did Esau do? He went out and promptly won 2 more events at Riverside Raceway. Esau has changed his sheet metal a couple of weeks ago to 1989 Pontiac sheet metal, and he hopes to make it to victory lane once again, maybe here at Sears Point today. So an old car, but an old one was good one, as Ron Esau puts it.
He's in second right now in the number 56 car.
Sometimes you get a race car that just is better than anything else you can build. You can try to duplicate it in building a new race car, but they don't always come out the same, and that old car will just keep on winning and driving good.
They've never been able to figure that out. They really have never been able to figure that out. Look, we got the cars go by, the cars go by.
There he is.
There he is. This is the leader just a few laps ago, Ken Peterson. Now he's back in 14th spot. And as I said, he's going to have to do it all over again, work his way through the field just like he did before.
They had a little longer pit stop there than they had hoped. They got the right side tires changed well, but they had a little trouble with the left rear, so he was in for about 40 seconds. But he's already proven that he can come up through the field, and he does have 4 fresh tires.
And it's going to make it exciting for us. I mean, It would be kind of boring if we had to sit here and watch these cars ride around, but he's going to make this thing very, very exciting before our day's over.
He's a nice guy.
So we will go at least one more lap now before getting the green flag, as the caution remains out on Sears Point International Raceway. You're watching live coverage of the Southwest Tour 200. At Sears Point International Raceway, you can see the lights around on the pace car. We're going green just a few moments. Jack Arute is positioned right down below our broadcast booth. I don't know what this is all about, but it has to do with jacks. Huh, Jack?
Bob, let me explain to you. We talked about having some help from Dale Jarrett's crew for Ken Peterson. Here's the normal jack that Peterson would have used. It takes 8 pumps to get the car up off the ground. Here's the jack that the crew from the Winston Cup Brigade brought. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the car's up off the ground. So, I mean, it's really a competitive edge. And it would have worked a lot better if they hadn't had that caution, but still, they got in and out very quickly. Let's check in with my colleague, Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Well, Jack, updating the folks on Troy Beebe, the fellow who had the misfortune of the car stalling up on the race course. They came in and changed the coil, as we had mentioned, and the car went out and ran about a half a mile and stalled again. Well, apparently in their haste, Alvin Beebe told me that the coil wire did not get pushed all the way in the coil, and when it went up the banking, up the topography, up the hill, the coil wire vibrated out and the car came to a rest. So he came back in, put the coil wire back in. A costly miscue for Troy Beebe. Currently 6th in the points, but now many laps down here at Sears Point. Bob?
Jerry Punch, what's that word he keeps using? Topography? What does that mean, Jerry Punch?
That's what they call peaks and gullies, I think, around Ellerby, Benny.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wondered. And by the way, Jack Arute, I'll have to say that the jack thing, it made sense.
Yeah, it did.
I'm surprised, but it made sense.
Well, I know normally I don't make a lot of sense, but I mean, that was when I got lucky, okay? I'd rather be lucky than good anytime.
Okay, the caution light is out atop the pace car, and we are going to see some action momentarily.
In fact, the pace car is pulled off the track, Benny, so the car number 73
Okay, let's see what kind of start we get. John Fox is a little. Let's see what kind of restart we get this time. Well, no. Yeah, he starts accelerating now. We are under green.
A little bit faster restart than Peterson had a few laps ago when we came off the most recent caution. Here's lap 28, and back to green we go. And we'll be watching Peterson move up. There he goes through the screen as the leader
he might have spun off the course. We couldn't see, but there we wasn't 30. Yes, he did. We see the dust.
So Esau running in second gets off course, and there is Peterson. Right ahead of him is Herschel Mcgriff in car number 66. Look at this, 3 in left.
That didn't work that time. That just ran out of racing room.
Yep, ran out of racetrack.
Man. Peterson's going to go down the carousel now. And Herschel goes by the 8 automobile.
That's Todd Knox from Stockton, California.
That's it. Peterson's able to get by him. Yes, he is. Peterson's able to get by. Now he takes off after Herschel Mcgriff. This is turn 7, the sharp right-hander. Ooh, I don't know if they make contact again. Peterson and the 8 car got together coming through that corner.
I tell you, that guy would work great with Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, wouldn't he?
Little paint trading going on out there, a little bumping and banging. Here comes Peterson, though, to the inside now.
You can't pass back there, can you, Bob?
Yes, sir.
You can.
At least Ken Peterson can. Well, that car is working very well. You got to give your hats off to Peterson's driving performance, but obviously that car is working very well, too. They're in turn number 11 again.
And we saw Ron Esau get sideways and get off onto the dirt, but he just dropped back to about 5th place, so he's still in the running. He didn't spin completely around.
Now, here is what happened last lap when Peterson, coming downhill, got 3 abreast.
With Herschel Mcgriff, that's Herschel in the middle, and Peterson tries his best not to get in.
You know, boy, he is living dangerously, no question about that. I don't know how he got that car stopped down there on the dirt.
I don't either, and here the contact again with the 8 car.
Just a little further down the track, more bumping and banging with the number 8 car of Todd Knox.
He makes it exciting.
Well, look who this is. This is Troy Beebe again. He will not give up. The car is stopped once again. Now he backs it up. And the 79 car off course, that's Ron Harnaday Jr., and the caution is out once again.
I believe that car has an engine problem. It looked like maybe it was losing some oil or something there. You can see a lot of smoke coming from the right side of it.
So the track crews will go out and see if they can find any oil from that car. Meanwhile, it is another caution period over this racetrack.
It looks like that the Panhard bar is broken. You see the tire rubbing the fender, the rear fender back there? It looks like the bar that keeps the body positioned has broken. That way the body's just shifting all around. And yes, see where the left rear tire is coming way out past the sheet metal? That's what's happened with that car.
So he pulls behind the wall and is out of the race. Hornaday, by the way, started this race in 8th position. Well, the number 9, oh, there's Dennis Dyer, and so much for the $10,000.
I was hoping he was going to win the $10,000 today.
So was he.
Yeah, I guess he was. He stops, maybe he just stopped to talk. No, he's waving.
Also, besides the Dennis Dyer car there in number 9, that is stopped, Troy Beebe was, and Hornaday, and also this little incident down in turn number 11 a few laps ago. That's the 49 car driven by Wally Pettengill Jr. from Sepulveda, California.
Boy, did he get that thing turned. I thought he was headed straight for the tires.
He did. That was impressive. I thought he was going straight in the tires.
The yellow is still out at Sears Point. This has been a race that has seen quite a few caution flag laps to this point. We'll get back to racing in just a moment. To join us on this Saturday afternoon from Sears Point International Raceway, Sonoma, California, ESPN Speed World on hand for the NASCAR Southwest Tour 200. We're under our 4th caution of the afternoon, and we have another report from Pit Road and Jack Arute.
Well, Bob, we watched Wally Pettengill, who got in that sandwich there and right in the middle, and he had to back out of it a little bit. Well, he's used to tight quarters racing because his family has been in racing in the Northeast for a number of years. In fact, for close to 4 decades. His father was a regular at the Stafford Springs Motor Speedway. He saw his first races up there in New England. I talked to him just before the start of the race, and he said, I'm really excited about being a racer, but I really wish I was still doing it on the half miles in Thompson and Stafford. Let's check in with Bob. Bob?
All right. He did do a miraculous job of getting on the brakes and keeping that thing out of the tire wall, didn't he?
He sure did. The car was going straight for the tire wall. This is the S's at the Sears Point Raceway, down the back straightaway. The pace car leading the car slowly down the back straightaway as they wind down through the S's.
Caution flag still being waved by the corner workers. The top 10 at the moment. John Pox is leading in 73. Dan Press is second. Kevin Reinker is third. Jim Thurkettle fourth. And Randy Laskowski is fifth. In sixth position is Herschel Mcgriff, then Ken Peterson, Chuck Pettinger, Roman Kalzinski, and Ray Hooper Jr. in 10th. We've got 20 more laps to go. 30 of 50 have been completed. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock on the West Coast, we'll have live coverage of the Banquet Frozen Foods 300 from Sonoma, California, the Winston Cup race. And I tell you, there has been some exciting moments in Winston Cup practice so far, hasn't there?
It has been unbelievable. It all started Thursday when Jimmy Means flipped. Now, he flipped. He turned the Alka-Seltzer Pontiac over up in the Carousel. And then on Friday, during qualifying, it was Michael Waltrip's turn. In turn 2, he got off the course and turned over the Country Time Pontiac. And there's been numerous this morning. Jeff Bodine was in the tire barriers.
Alan Kowicki was, too.
Yes, heavy damage on the car, the Xerox 4 Thunderbird of Alan Kowicki. Dale Jarrett yesterday afternoon spun off the course, got in the tire barriers.
Now there's the number 56 car of Ron Esau, who is being assessed a 15-second penalty because he had 3 air wrenches over the wall on the pit stop. So they're going to keep him in here for 15 seconds as a penalty. Jack Arute is right there.
And the Winston Cup official who's filling in this afternoon is timing this 15-second penalty. Ron Esau, tough break for him. They're checking it, and now he gets the signal to go on back out. They did take advantage of this period to fill in the fuel and to take a look at the tires, so it is a little bit costly, but it gives them plenty of fuel to go the distance.
Ned, who else did I forget that in the Winston Cup cars that have had some pretty serious damage? Have I forgotten anyone?
No, I think as far as the ones that have serious damage, Darrell Walter spun out. Harry Gant had to change cars. He did bang up the car that he brought here and had to take a backup car. So, yeah, there's been plenty of action.
Terry Labonte spun during qualifying. We'll start from the rear of the pack, so it should be exciting tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time from right here at Sears Point.
Brilliance.
As we get ready to start this race, Dennis Dowers in the pit has a transmission problem. They're putting one in and having him back out on the track before too long.
So, unfortunately, no $10,000 for Dennis. That was the incentive put up by his car owner to win this race, but he suffered a mechanical problem. 31 laps completed. We are back to racing.
And the car number 73 of John Pox, 21 years old. Out front. He's the defending champion of this race, so he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Oh, there's Peterson. 39 car Peterson trying to get by the 66 car driven by Herschel Mcgriff. He didn't make it, or he did make it. Yes, he did. He got by. And look, he's going to try once again. Boy, man, does he come off that corner so strong.
I'm telling you, he gets that car sideways, but is obviously very familiar with this racetrack. Have you ever been that comfortable that you could drive that fast on a road course?
You know, Riverside, I used to feel that good at Riverside.
Really?
I had the car under control and knew what it was going to do. And I'm sure that as many laps as Peterson has around this racetrack, he feels exactly the same way. And here's a race for the lead.
Dan Press in car number 25 is challenging John Pox for the lead in corner number 7. They're just inches apart as they come off corner number 7 and head up through the S's.
And Peterson is in 5th place, picks up 2 spots in this 1 lap.
Here he comes. That's Jim Thurkettle right there ahead of him. He's closing down on him real quickly.
He seems to do more damage up in the tough part of the racetrack than he does in the easy part of the race. Let's see. He's going to try to outbrake Thurkettle going in the corner.
That low line that Jack Arute has been telling us. Oh, he went.
Man, oh, man.
He went under the curve, but he got the spot.
He passed 2. No, he didn't. He just passed 1. I thought he had 2 in that 1 spot.
But he got the other one set up. He might get him here. No, not quite.
That's Kevin.
Got him now, though.
Kevin Reinker falls back to 4th. Here comes Peterson. He's up to 3rd again.
He is putting on a driving exhibition here this afternoon.
I'm glad I got to see this because this really has been interesting. This fellow can get around this race course.
That's Knox in the lead, Pratt second, and then Ken Peterson in third. Car 39. He started in 39th position. Grabbed the lead, made a pit stop, and now is fighting his way back up toward the front again.
We'll see how much success he has with those front two, John Fox and the Dan Press automobile. You know, when you're racing for third or fourth, it's one thing, but when you're racing for the lead, it's another thing. We'll see. He certainly has a better car. He's able to close up on them at will.
Let's go back and take a look at the replay as to how he was able to pass Thurkettle in corner number 11. That low line that Jack talked about, he used it, and he used every bit of it.
Well, he was completely under the ripple strips, completely under them, as low as you could possibly get.
Yeah, I don't say I got traction coming off that turn, but he did. And they're heading that way again here in a moment. Let's see what he can do with the front two now as he comes into that corner.
He closes in on Dan Press. He's going to do it again, believe it or not. He's got second position. Wow. Look at that low line that he uses. Unbelievable. Well, Peterson is second.
I'll tell you, I'm sure there's a lot. This part of the racetrack, the garage area for the Winston Cup Series is just outside of there. I'm sure that there's a lot of the Winston Cup drivers that are taking note of what he's doing right there on that racetrack. That part of the racetrack.
They are watching every inch he makes, every move he makes, especially in that corner number 11, and they are learning something from Peterson, at least in that particular portion of the racetrack. He is second. John Fox continues to lead in that yellow car, but Peterson is all the way up to second. It's Ned Jarrett, Vinnie Parsons, Jack Arute, and Jerry Punch back at Sears Point International Raceway. You're watching the NASCAR Southwest Tour 200-kilometer event, and there is the story of the race at the moment. The number 73 car, John Fox, is leading, but the 39 car of Ken Peterson is right there on his back bumper, and they are heading up through the S's once again. Lap traffic ahead could play a part. Now here they approach corner number 11 again. Let's see if Peterson can take. Nope. Fox protected the position very, very well. But look at Peterson go to the inside coming off the corner. Cannot take the spot away, though.
I tell you what, you can't get any lower than he's going through there.
But Fox did protect the line very good going in there. And we mentioned a moment ago that some of the Winston Cup drivers might be looking and maybe learning from that. And Jack Arute is standing by with one of those drivers.
And Ned, in order to see around the road course, you've got to get awfully high up. So Davey Allison has found his perch on top of Dick Trickle's race truck here. And you've been watching Ken Peterson. Have you learned anything, Davey?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's shown an awful lot of control of the race car and the way he's been driving around the racetrack and coming up through the traffic. And, you know, I've been watching his line down here in turn 11 especially. He's tucking it real tight down on the inside of the turn, and he seems to be able to make up an awful lot of distance right there.
Now, when you guys got here, you said it was going to be impossible to pass. This cat has, as the leaders are side by side, and they've fallen back, and Peterson is back in second, but you guys said it's impossible to pass. This guy's made a liar out of all of you Winston Cup regulars. He's passed at least 60 cars.
He's also got 1 million miles on this racetrack. That probably helps, too. You know, this place is going to be awful tough.
He got him.
Winston Cup cars.
Well, he just took the lead, Bob Jenkins.
Yes, he did. It happened in corner number 7 as Fox got a little bit sideways, and that was just what Peterson needed to just go for it and grab the lead.
I believe that was just total intimidation. I mean, he had run him so hard for so many laps and he just caught up to him.
And that's what we're going to see tomorrow. We're going to see intimidation. We're going to see that guy that's faster than the other fella, or maybe he's not so much faster, but he's going to make the fella pretend. He's going to make the fella think he's faster. Look here. Peterson pretends he's going to drive by on the outside. There's no way he can pass out there. But yet Fox says, oh, I better go in a little bit too hard. He did go in too hard. He said, I better go in harder. It was too hard. Peterson simply drove by. Oh.
And now the number 8 car has spun in the keyhole. That's Todd Knox from Stockton, and also Roman Kalzinski is off course in 75. Oh! And a multi-car crash is occurring. That's number 127 that has spun. Brian Brown. A couple of other cars also involved.
There must be fluid of some kind, oil or something.
Or it could be they came down there and saw those cars sitting there, Vinny, and already in a turn there, you hit those brakes, and boy, that'll spin you around in a hurry. Of course, there could be fluid on the racetrack there, but certainly if you hit the brakes when you're already started into a turn a little bit sideways, it'll spin you around in a heartbeat.
There is a yellow flag out. There is a caution flag being waved. It's a full course yellow, so we are going to be slowed again for our 5th caution flag of the day.
3 cars off the track down here. Here's a replay. Well, somebody may have lost an engine.
Yeah, they might have. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think Vinnie's right. I think there was some oil dump there.
Kalzinski was a car that they were looking under, so yeah, I think that's the fellow that blew. And he does put some oil on the racetrack. There goes the next car spinning, and the next one gets through. 2 more gets through, but then they start piling up behind them.
So there's Kalsinski, that white and blue car. And then the number 127 red car over on the left of your screen, that's Brian Brown. And the number 8 machine of Todd Knox, also there.
Burger King special.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have me a good chicken sandwich right now.
Well, they have a little cleaning up to do again over in this corner. The safety crews here have gotten a workout this afternoon.
Well, they sure have. This is any indication of what we're going to see tomorrow. You know, the first stock car race run here at Sears Point was back almost 20 years to this day, June 8th of 1969. It was a Pacific Coast late model race. And when they went onto the racetrack, the drivers were thinking, well, there isn't going to be much room to pass out there, but we have certainly seen a lot of it here this afternoon, and I would imagine we're going to see a fair amount of it tomorrow also. But we'll be on the air at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Eastern Time with the Banquet Frozen Foods 300 Winston Cup race.
Well, Ned, you know, in Winston Cup racing, anytime the caution flag comes out, we always say what the other competitors are going to do to further their positions to do something different. But there's the yellow X is the spot where we have all the problem on the race course now. That's the keyhole or turn 7. And that's where the oil is. And the cars are off the course. But the caution flag's out now. I don't think there's anything anybody in the field can do to beat Peterson. Do you, Ned?
No, I think he said up front that he had the car. It was left up to him, and he certainly has proven that he can drive it, and he knows this race course. So I don't know what they can do. I think all they can do is hope that something happens to that race car because he has it covered today.
As a matter of fact, you know, I think my hat's off to John Potts because he really and truly, for somebody from Albuquerque, New Mexico, who doesn't run this race course regularly, he's doing a great job today.
He is the 3rd car there on your screen, the 2nd behind the pace car, and 2nd in the race behind Ken Peterson. Yellow flag still waving. Here are the top 10. It's Ken Peterson leading, John Potts running 2nd, then Jim Thurkettle. Herschel Mcgriff is 4th, and Kevin Reinker is 5th. 6 through 10, Ray Hooper Jr., Dan Press, Chuck Pettinger, Brian Jernome, and Ron Esau is running in 10th position. We've got 12 more laps to go in this one.
And we're going to have to give you a break here, Bob. Your voice is getting a little bit weaker. That cold is getting the best of you.
Well, I think he's got on this cough syrup that's about 40% alcohol. And
now
we don't want to shut up now.
Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's in the Roman Kalsinski pit.
Well, Bob, actually, he's behind the wall here on the edge of the garage area. Roman, a tough day for you. What finally put you out?
I think ignition problem. I'm not sure. Ignition or something with might have broken oil line or something.
You had a tough day early on with the shifter.
Yeah, the shifter, that I could get by with. And, you know, we made a pit stop early there like we had planned. And I'll tell you, it was running real good there.
The defending series champion, Roman Kalzinski, exits early here, or late, actually, with 12 laps to go. Not having a good day. Bob?
All right, so Roman is out of the race, but Ken Peterson is the leader of this event as the yellow remains out.
They must have a tremendous amount of oil drive in that corner because I see the light is still on top of the safety car, which means that they're going to run at least another lap under the caution flag to clean the groove of the oil drive up in that corner. We see the flagman up waving the flag. In Winston Cup racing, that's one way you can tell when there's going to be a restart. The light atop the pace car is, when it's blinking, we're still going to be on the caution flag. When it goes out, they're going to go green the next time by.
There you see the slow movement through some of the race course where there is a lot of oil to ride down on the racetrack. The Winston Cup Series here tomorrow, today's Southwest Tour. Back in a moment. ESPN Speed World at Sears Point International Raceway for Southwest Tour Racing. We're under an extended yellow because of oil on the racetrack. Here are the point standings in the Southwest Tour. Dan Press is on top of them with 972 points. Mike Chase is 2nd. Then Ray Hooper Jr. Ken Peterson is 4th, and Chuck Pettinger is in 5th position. Now, those first 3 there have been the winners in the competition in the Tour so far this year. We've had 6 races, and those 3 have shared the wins. Now, here are the Winston Cup point standings, and look how close it is at the top. Darrell Waltrip with just a 2-point edge on Dale Earnhardt. Last week's finish really shuffled the point standings as Mark Martin moved up, Jeff Bodine moved down, and Rusty Wallace moved up. But boy, that battle for the Winston Cup lead there is quite a good battle, and we will resume the battle for the Winston Cup tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time with the Banquet Frozen Fruit 300 from right here at Sears Point.
And the same amount of points apply here at Sonoma, California, as applies to any Winston Cup race. And Jerry Punch is standing by with another guy that's out of the race. Had a lot of problems this afternoon, Troy Beatty.
Well, Troy was the pole sitter when the day began, but you had a number of problems, Troy. What finally put you out?
Well, we had an ignition problem. The coil actually went out in the car. The Taco Bell Buick ran real good up until then. Felt real comfortable in the lead. It ran real strong, but just wasn't our day.
You've been here sizing up the competition with about 10 or 11 laps to go. Who do you feel is the strong horse after? Who's the guy to beat?
Well, it looks like the 39 car is running real well, and plus John Pox and the 73 cars run strong all day.
We'll take a look. It may be Pox, it may be Peterson, but it won't be Beebe. He's out of it here at Sears Point.
Well, Troy may have an opportunity at the Winston Cup victory tomorrow. He starts 32nd in that event, so he'll be back in action tomorrow right here live on ESPN. Well, the number 39 car of Peterson is positioned right behind the pace car, and you can see that the light on top of the pace car is out, so we'll be going back to racing here. You think this guy has a Winston Cup future?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He looks like he certainly has a future in automobile racing because he's been awfully strong today. And, you know, as I understand, the fellow also runs very well on the oval tracks, not only road courses. We saw he was 4th in the point standing. He might even take over the Southwest Tour point standings after today's race. So sure, if he wants to pursue it, I think he would certainly have a Winston Cup career.
He has certainly impressed me here this afternoon. How about you, Jackaroo?
Well, to answer, Bob, in your question, basically he made a change of careers about 3 years ago with the advent of the Southwestern Tour. He was an accomplished road racer and decided to go oval track racing and compete on a regular basis. And he's done quite well.
Yeah, that oval experience came mostly in formula cars, the open wheel cars, so his move to stock car racing has certainly proven successful. Now the field moves into turn number 11, and we're about to go back to competition once again. Peterson's best finish so far this year has been a 3rd. That was on the 12th of May in Bakersfield, California. All right, the green flag is out, and we are racing with 10 laps to go.
Good, clean restart that way. Beautiful restart.
And the car number 73 of John Pox hanging in there pretty close. He certainly wants to stay as close to Ken Peterson as he possibly can. As we see the car number 56, Ron Esau trying to pick his way back up through the field.
I think Davey Allison described this race course very well in comparison to the other road courses. As we watched that tremendous traffic, he said Watkins Glen is like driving in the country. Riverside is like driving on a freeway. Sears Point is like driving in downtown San Francisco. And I think that pretty much spells it out.
At 100 miles an hour, right? John Pox, we see, trying awfully hard to keep up with Peterson. The car slipping and sliding a little bit more than it has been all day. Right now, he's trying to make the car do some things that really and truly is probably not capable of doing.
And back there in 3rd position is Jim Thurkettle, and in 4th is Herschel Mcgriff. So those two have been racing together for quite a few laps now for that 3rd spot.
Good battle, and remember, Mcgriff started in last place after taking over this ride from the last finish, and then made a pit stop at about lap 10 on the first caution, and started in the rear again, and is now in the 3rd or 4th position.
And he is another one of those who will be competing in the Winston Cup race here tomorrow. He has the 31st starting position nailed down for the Winston Cup event.
And the blue car is suit number 69. That's Kevin Reinker. He's right behind Herschel Mcgriff. He's in 5th place.
Good 3-car battle here, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as the leaders, Peterson and John Pox, have pulled away just a little bit. And some others running very close together out there on the racetrack. That is number 56, 25, and 70, Ron Esau. The 25 car, of course, is Dan Press, and the 70 car is driven by Ray Hooper Jr. And the number 95 car, driven by John Piccinini, is off course. I was in hopes that he would do something so I could pronounce his name. You can see a tire there on the course also. John Piccinini is off course.
Man, he's knocked those tires everywhere.
He has.
Yeah, I think the back end's up in the tires. Let's see if we can see what caused him to do that. As he comes in the turn, he gets into quick dry and just breaks traction and spins around, and you can see the tires going in every direction.
He hit awfully hard, and the caution flag once again is out. We have a full course yellow once again.
We can see him moving around in the cockpit, so apparently he's not injured, but he sure did hit those tires very, very hard.
I think he got out in that quick drive that was put down to soak up some of the oil, and sometimes that's just like getting on marbles. You hit that stuff, and it's very, very slippery, and the back end broke loose. We'll watch it again as he goes into that turn. Looks like he goes in a little bit high, and he does get the left wheels out in the quick dry, and then eventually into the dirt, and then into the tires.
Well, I would much rather have pronounced his name as the winner of this race, but unfortunately, this crash has taken him out on lap number 42, just 8 laps away from the finish. This is between turns 10 and 11, actually just about turn number 10, trying to get the netting down on the side of the car there so that he can climb out of the machine.
Now, this is about the place, I believe, that Jimmy Means rolled his car here in the first practice on Thursday, hit some tires, and it upset the car, and it turned it over. Now, these cars are lighter weight and very low to the ground. However, the Winston Cup cars are low to the ground, but I would say that a bigger percentage of the weight of these cars is lower to the ground than the Winston Cup, and maybe that helps to keep them on the ground a little bit more.
Wrecker has arrived behind Piccinini's car. It's not too far from the entrance to pit road, and maybe if the car will move, they'll simply push it to the pit area. I think that's what they're going to do.
And you can see a lot of the fiberglass that has been torn loose from the car, but that's a little different from Winston Cup. They don't run fiberglass fenders and quarter panels and things of that nature on the Winston Cup car.
Quite a bit of damage on that car. Well, not everyone is up watching. It's kind of quiet in some portions of the racetrack, and at least one fan has found an opportunity to look at this, though. This is right behind those tires, I believe, in turn number 7. Yeah. Well, I would be paying a little bit more attention, I believe, if I were there.
You know, the strange thing is, you say, with all that noise down there, how could you possibly sleep? But, you know, you get, I don't know, the noise kind of puts you to sleep. And you know what happens? When the noise stops, you wake up.
Kind of lulls you to sleep.
It lulls you to sleep, that's right.
I never tried that, so I wouldn't know that bit.
I've tried it several times in those garage areas.
Well, they're repairing the tire wall in corner number 10. We are again under caution and about 8 laps from the finish of the Southwest Tour 200. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Peterson, our leader, is coming in for a pit stop. The report is he's got a flat tire. Jack Arute is stationed in his pit, and here he comes down pit road, Jack.
Well, he's radioed in, Bob Jenkins, that he has a tire going down, so they're going to try and make the exchange as quickly as possible, but this will set up one whale of a finish. Peterson hits the marks nicely. They go to the left side. They're going to jack up off the ground. They're exchanging the tires. They're doing it very quickly. There are only 7 laps to go in this race when they drop the green flag, so he will have his work cut out for him. They're having trouble with the left rear. They're putting on the last lug nuts. They've got 1 left to go. They drop the jack. Now he has to maintain his composure, and he completes the stop in 19.5 seconds, but now he's got one whale of a run to the end.
He sure does. There are now lots of cars between him and the first-place car, and there are 19 cars on the lead lap.
Bob Jenkins, his crew is looking at that left rear turn. I don't know if that tire was flat. Jack Arute might get in and check, but one of the crewmen was indicating the tire was not flat, and they're looking, so maybe they had changed the wrong tire. Check Jack Arute.
Well, it was not a flat tire. Do you see the area where the lugs go? You see how they're now completely out of round. That was what was causing the wobble, and he thought he had a flat tire. So still, it's good that he came in and made the exchange.
Yeah, he probably had not been able to go all the way. Apparently, I've seen that happen, and in fact, I've had it happen to me back in the 60s, Benny, that the lug nut did not fit the pattern or the bevel of the wheel, and it would work loose as time would go by. So apparently they have a situation of that sort where it worked loose, and they would have given him some problems had he stayed out there.
Well, that's right. That's what happened was the lug nuts obviously were not tight, but you're right. The bevel on the wheel or the lug nuts may have been the problem. But, you know, the strange thing is Peterson must be pretty sharp, because to be able to feel some problem like that under the caution flag is really, you know, my hat's off to him, because under green flag conditions you can feel that kind of a problem, but not many times under caution flag.
Our indication is that there are 18 cars between the leader and Ken Peterson. He is in 19th on the lead lap. There he comes. Boy, but he has just got a heck of a lot of traffic to go through. Let's go back down to Jackaroo.
Okay, Benny, let's show the people. Now, this is your basic lug nut, as we all use, and you're talking about the bevel here. Do you see the way it's machined? Well, when, as you say, you put them here, you glue them on, and sometimes when the seat isn't exactly right, as you say, especially with the kind of side loads that you've got on a road course, it'll work its way loose. Then it's just holding on, and it will make that out-of-round hole in the wheel itself.
So that's something we might look for tomorrow also.
Absolutely.
Very well, it could be. But most of these guys, the fellas down with these cars, as we mentioned earlier, the pit crews down there are a little more inexperienced than the Winston Cup crews, because they don't have to pit that much. A pit stop, as a matter of fact, is very unusual in the Southwest Tour cars. In Winston Cup, as we all know, pit crews can make a big difference, and they will make a difference here tomorrow in winning and losing.
Peterson is in 19th position, but there are 26 cars between himself and the leader of the race. So
6 laps to go.
Oh, boy, he has got his work cut out for him. I don't think he's going to do it. Do you guys?
You owe me a soda pop, too.
Yeah. Sorry about that. All right, we're back to racing. It's lap number 44, and we've got only 6 more laps to go. We're waiting to see Ken Peterson. Here he comes. Oh, he's just a long way back.
A long way back, but he picked off about a half a dozen cars there from the time he took the green flag down until they got to the start-finish line. And here he goes by for car number 127 of Brian Brown.
Moving uphill.
I bet he finishes the top 5. Oh, the car spun.
That's number 43 of Ed Ash that is spun. But it makes no difference to him. He continues to pick off cars.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, they might throw a caution flag, and he may be able to pick off a few more cars on his way back and get closer to the leader. There's another one that bites the dust.
He don't wait long once he catches one. He moves on around enough.
He certainly does. And he's going through the carousel, underneath the 49 automobile and up the hill. Man, are really getting around the racetrack. But unfortunately, awfully long ways to go and not a whole lot of time to do it.
Whoa, he gets sideways there in corner number 7.
They just gathers her back in, stands on the gas, and keeps going. Boy, that car's working. And he's driving.
Look at the traffic go ahead.
Don't you know he's just beside himself?
Moving inside of the he touches with the double zero car on Fritzley. Fritzley was not very willing to give any racing room. As Peterson continues to click off the positions. Here he is in corner 11, taking that inside line.
Ran out of racing room, but look at him now. He makes some racing room down on the inside.
Yep. Almost gets bumped there coming off of corner number 11.
Well, while we're watching this exciting drive back up towards the front, there's a good battle going on up at the front. Herschel Mcgriff now running in second.
Oh, some heavy damage with that car. The 55 car spins off Peterson. He's got a flat tire now, it looks like.
John Wilson Jr. in the blue number 55 gets off course after colliding with the 39 car.
And Peterson has a flat tire, I do believe.
Yeah, I believe he does too. Well,
Moving along pretty good.
we'll leave that for the moment and show you what's going on up front. There is John Knox sliding through corner number 7, and Herschel Mcgriff is right there on his back bumper.
He did that just a moment ago when Peterson took the lead from him, and once again got in the corner a little bit too hard, slipped up, and let then Herschel moved up right on the rear bumper. Yeah, he's having trouble up in that corner. In fact, the last time they came through turn 11, Herschel got on the side of him and almost made a pass, but he couldn't quite make it. We'll watch him as they come through the S's now and head back into turn 10 and 11 and see what he can do this time.
Boy, what a story this will be if Herschel Mcgriff were to win this race. The 61-year-old who started back in the back of the pack has come on to battle now John Fox for the lead. Peterson apparently does have a flat tire on the
trouble over here in turn 11.
The number 05 car of Brian Germoni has spun, and there's a full course yellow again. Again? Yes.
Well, maybe there isn't.
Well, he keeps going. The corner workers are showing a yellow, but it is not a full course yellow, apparently.
Apparently not. And Ken Peterson, I keep calling him Don, Ken Peterson would like to have seen a yellow at this point if he does have that flat tire.
The 39 car is coming into the pits. Here comes Peterson. Wow, this has been quite an afternoon for him.
Really has. He has put on a display of driving like we haven't seen in a long, long time. Look at that left front. Yep. Zachariah is down there.
And this will almost likely be terminal for Ken Peterson because it is not a flat tire. Actually, what he's got is the suspension is given out. Just about a half a lap before that, NASCAR had warned him for some rough driving and had told him to make sure that he kept his wits about him as he tried to carve his way to the front. His crew chief is now talking to him. What a disappointment for Ken Peterson after starting 39th, leading this event, only to have a flat tire, or actually a tire go out around. Back to you guys.
Yeah, it looks like that there's something wrong with the steering mechanism, and here's the car coming into the turn in turn 11 and hits those tires, bounces them out of the way.
He may have taken some lessons from Peterson on driving that turn 11 line, but that's not the way you do it. Now, here is Herschel Mcgriff, who is still running in second position. The leader is John Fox, and here's Jerry Punch with a comment.
Remember, early in the race, John Fox made his one and only pit stop on lap number 18. They were rolling the dice a little bit back there, fellas, because they wanted to make sure they felt they could make it all the way on fuel. They changed two left side tires, topped the tank off, and now Junior Baxter, the crew chief for John Fox, is saying, hang on, run as hard as you have to run to stay in front of Herschel Mcgriff. Fox apparently ready on the back to, hey, Herschel's no slouch. I'm 21 years old. You know, that guy's 41 years older than I am, and I'm trying to hold him off. He said, but if I can win this one, I will certainly earn it. Now, remember, Herschel Mcgriff came in much later, has much fresher rubber on his car, and, of course, no problem at all with fuel. So if the youngster from Albuquerque can hold on, he will certainly deserve this win today. Bob?
All right, some John Fox supporters are down in the pit area with their fingers crossed, hoping that their driver can pull off the victory here in a little less than 3 laps from now. You can see that there has been a bit of an interval open up now between Fox and second place Herschel Mcgriff.
Yeah, he's been able to pull away. He settled down a little bit after he made that slide going up into turn 7. This is Ron Esau. Coming in here, car number 56. He's had a good run here today.
He's running in 4th position. 3rd is Jim Thurkettle, and that's red number 3 car that you see at the top of the hill there. And right behind Thurkettle is the 25 car of Dan Press, and this is the battle for 4th position.
This is a very good battle. Looks like Press might be a little bit faster than Esau. Yeah, the last time they came through turn 11, Press got up beside of him and almost lost it, and he was about 2 seconds behind him, but then has picked him back up very quickly. So he does appear to be faster on the racetrack, and he's just finding a place to pass.
Well, that's right. He was trying to go on the inside, but Esau oh, look here. Press just drives up on the outside of Esau, and they go through the corner 11 side by side. Oh, they touch down the front straightaway. Woo! Going for turn 1. Let's see what's going to happen. Press is on the inside. He has the groove. Esau won't let go, though.
Had to back off to get into that turn. I'll tell you, that was impressive to see him run that far side by side.
It really was. Great racing here at Sears Point in just a few laps to go.
Now you can see Press beginning to pull away because he, as you said, apparently has a faster car, and now that he's gotten around, Esau is pulling away.
And there's Kevin Reinker in the 69 car right behind him. Is that for a spot as well? Yes, it is. So when Esau battles the other guy, and guess what? There's another fellow right behind him ready to take over 5th spot.
My voice would have taken that call. Thank you, Vinnie. Well, that's okay.
I say there's just no peace out there. One goes by, and then you look up in your rear view mirror and say, here's another one. Here's the leader. Car number 73 being driven by 21-year-old John Knox. And I'll tell you, that kid is showing a lot of maturity here right now. He shook off the battle of Herschel Mcgriff a few laps ago and has settled down and pulling away now. There's third Kittle in the third place car. And here comes the 56 car once again. Ron Esau and Kevin Reinker coming down through the S's on the back straightaway. We're going to, in just a moment, be going into turn 11. Esau has been having a little bit of trouble through this turn. It has not been one of his better turns, but you see, it's slowed down. Here it comes. Reinker trying to get up on the inside. Couldn't quite make the pass that time. Ned, you are so observant because he had tremendous problems that time. Esau did getting into that corner. If he does that the next time, he was going to lose that spot. White flag.
We're on the final lap of the race, and that's John Pox in car 73 leading the event and appears to be on his way to a very hard-fought victory.
Look how smooth he is now that he doesn't have any pressure out there. And I'll tell you, it makes a great difference when you don't look up in your rearview mirror and see somebody dogging you for that position. Especially a 61-year-old who's been racing for 40 years, and you're 21 years old. When you look up, and it's got to be intimidating to look up in the rearview mirror and see Herschel Mcgriff. But John Pox able to handle it. Going up through the, entering the keyhole, turn 7. This is one corner he's been having trouble with all day, but this time surely he'll slow down and get through the corner with ease. And ooh, I don't know. He had trouble once again getting through that corner. Yeah, he slowed down getting into it, but coming off is where he had his problems that time. But he got her back under control again now, just easing his way around.
This will be his second career Southwest Tour race win. He was the winner here in 1988 on the long course. His most recent win came in 1988 in April of 88 here at Sears Point. And now he is on his way to victory once again. John Pox from Albuquerque, New Mexico is through corner number 11. He's headed to the main straightaway. Getting the car a little bit sideways coming off the corner. He's still on the gas, and it is John Pox who takes the checkered flag, and the Southwest Tour 200 is history.
Herschel Mcgriff will go by and take second spot. Jim Thurkittle will be third. Dan Press fourth. And then a real battle for fifth place coming up, but I believe Ron Esau is going to win it. He does, indeed. Finishes in fifth in the car number 56. And I see some happy individuals in the pit area of John Pox.
He was a twice champion at the third-mile dirt track in his hometown of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and has proven this afternoon that he likes the road courses. He has won this very grueling race here this afternoon. Seen a lot of spins and crashes, no injuries. Ken Peterson also put on a brilliant display of driving as he battled from the rear of the pack on a couple of occasions to take the lead, but the checkered flag fell, and it was John Pox taking it first.
Well, I'll tell you, there's some cars out here with a lot of fiberglass flapping from them. Of course, this car is in good condition here, the car number 73.
There is Ken Peterson, who fell out of the race because of a suspension problem, and he is totally exhausted after the brilliant drive that he gave everybody this afternoon. He's back in the hauler, but Jack Arute, the intrepid reporter that he is, moves in and says, "Hey, wake up and move out here so I can talk with you." Go ahead, Jack.
Punch him in the nose.
Ken, unbelievable. What a great run, but to fall so short. How do you feel right now?
That was horrible. I can't even describe the words. I've been maintaining my cool all weekend, but that was just a little too much. That was horrible. I mean, the lug nuts were loose, and I came in and changed the tire, and that cost the race. And I didn't get the word. They said the tires weren't flat, and I go, so I'm thinking in the back of my mind, God, what's going to fall off the car? The car feels this terrible. All it was is the lug nuts, and there's a couple radio people on our same frequency, and I couldn't hear them say the lug nuts were loose.
But what an incredible display of driving ability and talent by you, especially where we could watch it from pit road down there in turn number 11. You've written a new chapter down here.
Well, thank you very much. You make me feel a little bit better for a terrible weekend. But I wish you don't close the account, it's no good. But I must thank my crew in Fisher Engineering and Red Line Oil. They did a heck of a job. Through all of what we had, we came damn close. They did the best you can, and it's just one mistake right there.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but he said if you can't close the account, it doesn't really matter. I think he really did take a big closing of the account today. He really showed just how great these Southwestern Tour drivers can be.
All right, our congratulations, despite a bit of a disappointment to Ken Peterson, who was the 1987 Formula Russell Pro Series champion. A very valiant display of driving here this afternoon. John Cox has won. We'll be right back.